And so you mentioned if the Democrats were to capture the trifecta, if they got the Senate, the House, and of course the presidency, then there could be more momentum, more movement to Supreme Court reform that a lot of people, a lot of progressives are pushing for. So you were
Great.
at the DNC. What are your thoughts on, first of all, Vice President Harris and her chances of taking the presidency? I'd like to get your thoughts on that. And
Uh,
then, of course, down the line with the House and the Senate, what can we expect in terms of the Democrats? What's your predictions?
so far, first of all, I think our situation improved dramatically with President Biden's very impressive decision to step back and let Vice President Harris become the nominee. We've seen, I think, a virtually unprecedented historic surge in enthusiasm, volunteers, donations, excitement, and a sharpened, tougher, smarter message out of the campaign as well, which there's a feedback loop there. People see the Harris campaign willing to push back, willing to fight, willing to even drop a little snark. And that cheers them up because they've seen so much trash unanswered out of the Trump campaign. So I think we're in a pretty good position. I think the Senate's going to be difficult. You know, the key states to watch are going to be Montana, Ohio, Pennsylvania. There are others, but I'd say those are the big three. On the other hand, you know, we're starting to look at maybe Florida's in play. Maybe Colin Allred can win in Texas over Ted Cruz. There are other prospects for us out there. So I feel pretty good. I think the House is probably the most likely to go Democrat. I think Harris is almost as likely to win the presidency as the House is to go Democrat. And I think the close one is going to be the Senate. At the moment, I think we win, but never underestimate the power of these creepy billionaires to spend unlimited amounts of money, thanks to Citizens United and the Supreme Court justices who they put on the court, and hide that it's them while they're doing it. So the prospects of a very, very corrupt enterprise in the last now 9 weeks of the campaign run by these billionaires is very real. So nobody should, as a certain person would likely say, this victory is not going to fall out of a coconut tree. We're going to have to go out there and win it.
Yeah, and at the DNC, they had all the signs saying that the Democrats have definitely, as you mentioned, taken a more pugnacious tone, and we fight, we win, or what a lot of the signs say. And
Yeah.
if, if it doesn't go your way, if it doesn't go the way that the Democrats hope, and Trump were to retake the White House, or if some of the houses didn't go in the direction of a majority, is that something, does the fight go on? What's next in terms of the Supreme Court? What's the next battle?
Well, this is the United States of America, and we cannot have a United States Supreme Court that is a tool and plaything of creepy billionaire special interests. That just cannot be. So sooner or later, we're going to have to fix that, and sooner or later, we are going to fix that. But even if, for instance, we were to lose the presidency and you had Trump back in the Oval Office and we lost the Senate, neither can stop the House from investigating. And a really robust, detailed investigation of exactly what has been going on over at the court and how this court capture scheme was played out and who the agents were in the court capture scheme. I think the story, if told fully, becomes so compelling and so horrifying that something will then have to be done.
Great. Yes. So the fight goes on for Supreme Court reform and binding ethics code. But as you mentioned, there is momentum. People are talking about this issue in ways that never occurred before.
Yeah.
So I appreciate all your work that you're doing for the country. And of course, I appreciate you joining me today. Thank you so much, Senator, for your time.
If I could, can I drop in one other thought?
Yes, please.
In addition to the legislative work, we're seeing some real success out of the Judicial Conference, which is the administrative body made up entirely of federal judges that oversees the federal judiciary. And these judges tend also to be the ones who oversee the ethics and discipline processes in their districts and in their circuits. So they know very well that what's been going on at the Supreme Court would be completely intolerable in their own circuits and courts. So they have started to put a lot of pressure on the court. At this point, the final decisions that they've made are 2 for 2 towards reform and transparency. One was to open up the disclosure of who's behind amicus curiae briefs so that the court isn't being bombarded with flotillas of amicus curiae briefs and you don't know who's behind them all. You know, they're orchestrated and coordinated and nobody knows it because it's all been too secret. They're fixing that rule right now. And then what I call the Scalia trick, which was getting free vacations by having a resort owner send you a personal invitation to stay for free at their resort, and then pretend that because it's a personal invitation, even if it's from somebody you don't know, it's personal hospitality that's being provided and doesn't have to be disclosed. They blew that to smithereens. So there's continuous pressure from within the judiciary on the Supreme Court, and that's another, I think, a compelling part of the story here.